G'day guys, welcome to a nice Monday to start the week. I'm voice overing this on the Sunday and I made it last Thursday, so gee whiz, it's just all over the show. I'm trying to get my bearings in order because I've done a couple of pages and I've actually worked on like 3 different layouts at the same time, which is super confusing when you do videos. Like it's just crazy. It's definitely not a habit I'm going to get into in the very near future. Trust me. So what I'm using here, I just cut a doily in half. Don't use doilies very often. I like it when other people use them, but I kind of struggle using them because they're a bit, I don't know. Sometimes I can get them to work, sometimes I can't. Okay, so what am I using? Let me have a look at my list of stuff to let you know what I'm actually using. Okay, I cannot find my list. That is not very good, is it? Welcome to Karen's brain at the moment. There we go, I found it. All right, I am using the 49th and Market Painted Foundations collection, and I'm using one page out of that, which is the whiter one. And then I'm using 49th and Market Spectrum Sherbet Solid in Blueberry. So I know it says blueberry. I swear it says blueberry, but it doesn't look blue to me. That to me looks green. Like it to me it's not gone. I don't know why they called it blueberry. Anyway, but I digress. So what I decided was I had these 6 photos, and it's when we were celebrating Jen's win with gymnastics. So I decided I needed to grunge these up just a little bit more. The white was a bit too white. So I cut a piece of, it's a sort of has a line in it, and it's just a bit of plastic. And I just tapped that on the ink pad and just created some lines on the page. And then I pulled out my Kaisercraft stencil. I don't know what this stencil is actually called, but it has all different things. It's got some letters, some numbers, some lines, some dots, dashes, some cracks, and it's all in the one stencil. So you're able to actually, depending where you put the ink through, you can get some really good effects with it. I absolutely love it, as you can tell, because it's colored something chronic from paint. I used to use it a lot when I did mixed media journals, but I don't really do that anymore because I just feel like, I don't know, I'm just in a scrappy phase, and it's where my heart always comes back to, scrapbooking. You know, like I've got the story, I've got the photos, I feel like I'm telling a story, whereas when I was just doing art journaling, junk journaling, that sort of thing, it was helping me with get my little crafty out there, but it wasn't sort of something I wanted to keep kind of thing. So I'm trying to put a little bit of colour just to add extra interest to this page. Sort of pull it more over to the green side. So it's sort of in between. I'm using I've actually end up using 3 different distress oxides. I used Rustic Wilderness and I used Evergreen BOUGH. So I've just done Rustic Wilderness. Now I'm just wetting it ever so slightly. The 49th and Market paper is super thick. It is awesome. Look, it's not designed to just spray water all over, but to do what I just did then, to lighten up bits where I've put the stencil down, and I just wanted to sort of add a little bit of light and dark. You can spray a bit of water on it and it doesn't affect it. It's really good. So it's I'd actually say the 49th and Market cardstock, I would say, is probably equivalent to the Vicky Bouton Foundations paper. I reckon it's like that. It's pretty solid. So what I ended up doing was see what I'm cutting up at the moment. I'm not trying to make it exactly the same, but I'm just trying to sort of emulate, see those paintbrush marks at the top? I want to do that sort of so it's on a diagonal and it's the same. I just reached for some tape to join these together, and I had my craft tape behind me, so that's what I used because, you know, it's close, why not? I usually would use washi tape or something like that to hold that together, but now as you can see, I just switched it over. So I had it the other way, now I've put it this way, and I actually prefer it like that. So I'm going around the edges of these paint marks, and I'm going around the edges with a bit of Uncharted Marina. Why? Because I was really torn. The fact that it's called blueberry, it was making me think it should be green blue. So the photos, look, the photos are so easy. They're not of a specific thing. So there's all different colors in there. So I think they go fine with it. So I'm just sticking down these bits. Now, this is where normally I would have tacked these down quite loosely, but I ended up sticking them down pretty hard, and I actually tore the paper there, but it's okay. I fix it and it's not a drama. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing it off screen because I've just put my new mat there and I didn't want to spray it with gold. So I sprayed the doily with, or the two halves of the doily, with my homemade mica spray. Now there is if you want to know how I make mine, there is a video. It's all on its own. It's not in a playlist, and it's just sitting there, how I make mica spray. And it just adds a nice shimmer, and it evaporates. It doesn't leave watermarks, you know, or like oil marks. Some mica sprays can do that. Now, I put down some washi tape. This is where I struggle. I know you guys are going to wonder, what, you struggle with stuff? I do. This I struggle with. When you do scrapbooking, there's so much information out there on how to do scrapbooking a certain way. Now, if you look at what I've done here, all I've done is cut 2 pages in half and swapped them over, but it's giving me a 50-50 situation. So I've literally cut it through the center. If you cut them slightly skewed, I've had a few people say to me, how do you do double pages? This is a super, super simple way of guaranteeing that you're going to get equal color on both sides. It's going to remain balanced if you do it like this. That's probably the best way I can describe it. Now, these strips I actually took from the front, what's it called? It's not a cover because it's not a book. With the 49th and Market papers, they come with, you know, the front cover saying, you know, it's 49th and Market. This is the Spectrum Sherbet. When you turn that front page over, they actually have some cutter parts on there, and that's where I got those strips from. So they were a lot bigger and they were a lot wider, but I just cut them down a little bit so it kind of mirrors the other side. So as you can see, then I went across and I just used some washi tape out of my collection, and I tore the edges because when I put it across and it was straight, it didn't look right. It looked like it was too blocky, if that makes sense. So here I'm going, enjoy this, because I'm doing some splatters. I don't do splatters very often. For anyone that's new to my channel, I love mixed media, but when it comes to splatters that get done at the very end of a layout, it gives me anxiety because guaranteed I will get the splatters on my photo, I don't know, you tell me. It does my head in. I can't do it. Of course I can do it, but I choose not to. But in this situation, I know that I wanted, and I knew I needed to have splatters, more splatters, to tie the colors and get rid of so much of that white background. Now, I knew that I was creating my title is where this all comes together. So if you just stick with me for a little bit longer, you'll see how I pull these 2 pages together and how they literally look. How can I explain it? They roll together. That's what I'm trying to get across. Like, I'm trying to, when I do a double page layout, I like to have something connecting the 2 pages together. This one has a bit of a sort of yin and yang kind of vibe to it. And I absolutely love it. So, sorry. Sorry, I'm yawning and I'm so exhausted. I have to tell you guys. Mate, while I'm doing this, just a little squirrel for a second. On Friday, so for everyone that's new to my channel, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a quick explanation. I actually have fibromyalgia, and I have rheumatoid arthritis, which is also known as rheumatoid disease. Now, they're both autoimmune diseases, and they both affect the nerves, etc. in my body. So on Friday, I exhausted myself to the point that my body was like shutting down. I was struggling to physically function. It was terrible. Now, if you're already over on my Facebook group, you are probably already aware of this, but on Saturday, I literally could not move. It was awful. It was so bad. This is now Sunday afternoon. It's like 2:30 Sunday afternoon, and I'm starting to come good. I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm not as tired, thank goodness, and my body has stopped trembling. It has stopped shaking, which is awful, but it's okay. Everything's going to be fine. I just overdid it, and normally I can stop whatever I'm doing when I reach the point of being really tired or really, I know I'm going too far. Unfortunately, I was doing a job for somebody and I couldn't stop. I had to keep going. So, yeah, it was different. So yesterday I had myself I just have to throw out, Shay, this tape is amazing. Thank you so much for forwarding this one to me. This is the scrapbook.com tape, and I love it. I'll be honest with you, this stuff is great. Cass and Jacques have just got in their store, or they've ordered it, or it's just in there now. It's coming, something like that. Their version of this mint tape. This is the mint tape from scrapbook.com, and Shay had put in an order and she got some, and she was so kind. I could not believe that she sent me 2 rolls of it. I love this stuff. It is so good. I have actually, what I've done is I've been testing it, and I had a little piece and I've stuck it on my book that I write everything on, and because I wanted to see how long it would stay tacky for, and it's still tacky, and I've been playing with it now for probably majority of the week and it's still tacky. So the strip I just used, I've actually stuck it on my drawer, on my shelf, and I'll peel it off and use it next time I want a blue shade. So, and because I quite often, something I'm liking doing is, see how I just did the border and I just used the ink for the border, instead of adding extra bulk and using an extra sheet of cardstock. If you run around the edge of your border like that, you get the border, you get the look, but you don't get the bulk in your album. So that's a reason why I do that. You can also, because this is the Distress Oxides that I'm using, you can wet it to create, you know, a dappley effect. You can use different well, there you go. I just wet that just to give you, I didn't want that to be a solid color. So this is my title. Now, I did go overboard with my title, and I printed it all out and I backed it all and I recorded doing it all. And then once I got to the point of putting it on, I went, your title's a tad large, Karen. So I have kept the word gymnastics because I will use that on something else. But, so this is my offset. Now, something I want to also talk about is, would you guys like me to do a video on what I would deem basic essentials? So essentials for scrapbooking, because we all have to start somewhere, and I am more than happy to tell you about the things that I find along the way, like Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. Can I just chuck that one in? They are the most amazing craft supply that I have. I've come up with a few in the last 12 months that I didn't think I would love quite as much as I have. But when I went from the distress inks then to the distress oxides, game changer. Then when just to get different looks, and that's the thing, that's what gets me. It depends what look you like. I like to go with a minimalist look, but I like the pastel colors, but I would say that I do more bright and bold things than I do pastel. I love me some Pink Fresh Studio, don't get me wrong. I have another design team layout coming up in the next week with the Pink Fresh Studio collection, and I absolutely love the colors. I love them. I couldn't scrap with them every day though. Like I'm the sort of person that I need to jump from brights to black and white to I like to mix it up. So if you're new to my channel, I know that this one is a little bit longer than my usual video length, but because it's a double page layout, a lot of people look for double page layouts, and I felt that it was pretty important in this one to leave all of the process in there, because I don't want people to be under the illusion that a double page layout takes the same amount of time as it takes to do a single page layout, because that's just not true. So that Cricut scraper, by the way, is the best one. The little tiny, you think you're going to use the little tiny one the most, but you know what? I find I use the bigger one because it seems to have a bit more of a thinner, it comes to more of a point, more of an edge, and it hooks under nicely without curling your cardstock. Well, that's what I find anyway. So here is my title, and this is what I'm talking about with the yin and yang thing. So if you look at where the doilies are and the way that my title sort of curls around, sorry about the little thing going across the bottom of the screen. I promise it disappears in a second, but it's YouTube and I have to do this because I do get paid a small commission if you use any of the affiliate links that are below. And the only affiliate link is for Crazy Craft Obsessions online store. So this is where I realized, see, I did the word gymnastics as well. There's no way it was going to fit on there. I don't know what I was thinking, but I wanted it to be a big, bold title. Now, and I did check half a dozen times to make sure I spelt this right, because of the font that I used. It's using some lowercase and some uppercase, like the B's in uppercase, but everything else is lowercase. Anyway, so, and that there, did you see that? That's a mistake. Can you see I've ripped my page because I put the S on. It was meant to be gymnastics celebration, not winning celebrations. So that's okay. I put a little bit of ink on it, and when I put all my sprinkly bits down, I will cover it. So something that I am looking at the moment, and I've purchased some stuff that will turn up this week. It's kind of, I'm hoping it works because a lot of you have commented to me that you like the sprinkly bits, but they're expensive for the amount that you get. I agree. 100% I agree. I love the Pink Fresh, what are they called? Shay actually sent me some, and it's my very first ones that I've ever had in my hot little hand. They're Pink Fresh Jewels, and I've got the blue sky ones. They are stunning. I absolutely love them. The problem I have is, as you can see here, I like to be very heavy-handed. If I'm putting sprinkly bits down, I want lots of sprinkly bits. Now, I have had a lot of people say to me, and, you know, Cass was one of them. She's like, nah, that's just too, nah, don't have the patience for that. You know what? Some days I agree. Some days are not a sprinkly day for me. Some days I have to just take a step back and go, nah, it's not working. I'm not doing it. But then there's days like this particular one where I just wanted to zone out, and I find this therapeutic. It's cathartic, man. It is, for me, because I've got this tool and it's got a wax point on it, and on the other end it's got like a little pointy, it's not sharp, it's flat. It's kind of like the end of a mechanical pencil, but you'd think lead would come out of it, but it doesn't. And it is honestly the easiest thing to do, and it gives you so much wow factor. And it's creating movement and tying the two pages together. And for that very reason, I wanted to get more sprinkly bits, but I thought that I would do a lot more, what are they called? Shaker pockets, shaker cards, I don't do cards, but you know, like the shaker bits, shaker elements. I thought I would do more of them, but I've actually found that it's not, sometimes I like doing it with a cut file, but it's not, I like it sometimes. It's not an always thing. I would prefer to do what I'm doing here and have them glued down. That's just me. You let me know. What do you think? Do you think the shaker pockets, I've worked out a couple of different ways of doing them, and it's not difficult for me because, one, I've got a manual die cutting machine, as well as I have my Cricut Explore Air 2, and either or I can create layouts beautifully. Like it's not a problem whatsoever. And what else can I tell you about them? These are just all stars. So they're just large stars, small stars, silver ones, blue ones, green ones, because I can't work out whether this is meant to be blueberry or black, or I don't know, snozberry. It's just one of those things, I suppose. But I'm like that. Sometimes I look at a colour and everyone will be going crazy because I'm not colourblind. I'm not at all. But I sometimes I struggle when colours are between green and blue for some reason. But anyway, I have waffled long enough. Here is my layout up close and personal. You can see how I've grunged it up and added just a little bit of extra in the background and all those sparkly winning stars. And that I have to do my shameless plug. If you're watching my video and you've made it this far, thank you. I really appreciate that. And second of all, please subscribe, like the video, and or leave me a comment. Subscribing is free, and I respond to all my comments, good, bad, or in between. I'm down to earth and totally approachable. So if you want to follow me on any of my socials, they are down below as well, along with my affiliate link to Crazy Craft Obsessions, which if you use it, you get a discount. You get a discount as well as I do. So Thanks very much for watching, and I will chat to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.